My name's Lucas Ayub, and I live in the mountains of the U.S., a town called Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And a year ago, I got invited to join a sailing boat from India to here we are in Israel. We started in Cochin, India, and left for Socotra, Yemen. From Socotra, we crossed the Gulf of Aden to Djibouti, through Bab al-Mandab to Suakin, Sudan. From Suakin, Sudan, we checked into Egypt and Hurghada, but stayed in Suez, and from there traveled to Cairo by land, through the Suez Canal, and ultimately Ashkelon, here in Israel. I joined this sailing trip because the love of water. You know, in the winter I play in snow, and the summer I love the ocean, you know, or a river, or, you know, it's just, I think, there's something in us, and that is water. So why not be with it, you know? The people that I joined, he's British, she's Dutch. They have been living on their boat for 25 years, sailing around the world. So yeah, you know, last June, they wrote me and said, hey, you know, like, we'd love your help. So my job on the boat was ultimately to deal with people. Then the first few days, you know, you're just like, you're kind of reading a little bit, writing, you know, eating, sailing, you know, just kind of going for a swim. But to, you know, to be on a boat, you know, things get simple. There was one day before getting to Hurghada where in 10 hours we only were able to do 10 nautical miles, which is very little. And so that evening we actually went straight north, you know, just to cover as much ground as we could, and there's 3-meter waves. And the boat was launching off the waves into the troughs, into the bottom. And it was a big night, but, you know, the ship handled wonderfully. The world that we have today, we forget about what's important. And, you know, civilization comes from water, you know, and we're often neglecting it, you know, for the iPhone or for, you know, these other things that distracts you from the real, you know. So with ocean, it's bringing back to who you are, you know, to where we come from. And, you know, it just really shows the strength that you have, because when you're out there, there's nothing. You know, it's only you and the sea and the people you're with, the boat. You know, maybe you'll, you know, whistle and a bird comes by, or, you know, you see a pod of dolphins swimming off the bow, but it's, I mean, it's as romantic as it gets, but at the same time, you have to, you know, be ready. Yeah, it's a bit of magic that's left in the world.
Wow, guessing that guy has much lower stress levels than anyone else, certainly anybody in this newsroom.
It takes a specific person to go on a trip like this and just abandon their whole life and sail for 2 months. And he wasn't alone, he was actually with a couple. The woman was deaf, or is deaf, and the man is her partner. They've been traveling, like he said in the piece, for 25 years, sailing across the world. So you can just imagine what it's like to sit with two...
Well, what is it like? I mean, what was it like for you? What do you feel like you sort of soak up from a little bit of time spending, you know, entering a completely different world?
Well, the most remarkable thing is what you do with all of this spare time. We live in a digital world today. Everything is so
every second is filled up with
every second
Facebook
is filled up,
Twitter,
and when we want to take the time to just think, we just jump to our phones and we revert to the easiest way out. So he was telling me some things that he did on the boat. He would read, he would look, you know, look around, think a lot, write a lot, and all the creativity would come out. But of course, like any adventure, there's always a little bit of the downside.
A little? It doesn't look like much of a downside there, but...
No, there definitely is. He was pretty real about it, and he said sometimes it can feel isolating, it can get a bit lonely, and you definitely have to have this original, authentic thirst for adventure and curiosity, because you end up in different countries that are not necessarily safe.
But maybe we can take a little bit of that curiosity, I guess the happy medium between a life of just nonstop smartphones and stress, and that is learning to take a little bit from that. So hopefully hopefully our viewers will get a little bit inspired by his life choices. That's it for us right here on Debrief. We'll be back on Monday with another edition, same time, same place, from our studios right here in the Jaffa Port. Have a great weekend.